Hey guys, welcome back to At the Cabin. My name is Drew, and I am here at the cabin, aka my home studio. And today it's episode 3 of the Helix Sessions at the cabin, already on the 3rd installment. I'm having a blast. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos. Today we're going to be going with a clean tone. I'm going to be looking at the Jazz Rivet 120 amplifier. The previous videos I kind of just gravitated towards high gain amps and high gain tones. No idea why. I wasn't planned that way, but I'm just kind of going with the flow. I'm looking forward to this, creating a clean tone with the Jazz Rivet. Let's hop right on into it. All right, here we are in Helix Edit once again, and I have my template already laid out. If you're curious to see how I have my template laid out, you can refer back to my episode 1 video where I set up a Huat amp and I went into detail on all the different blocks that I have in my template. As always, I like to go over to helixhelp.com/models where you can see all the different amps and pretty much everything in the Helix and what it's based on. You'll see here the Jazz Rivet 120 is based on a Roland JC-120 Jazz Chorus amp. Having done a little research prior, I learned that this amp, is very well noted, very well recorded throughout musical history. Some of its users include Albert King, Andy Summers, Robert Smith of The Cure. Actually, James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett of Metallica have used this amp on some of their recordings as well. So definitely psyched to see that. Metallica is one of my earliest influences with music. Not noted here is one of my favorite guitarists, Wes Borland of Limp Bizkit. He's just an absolute, beast of a guitarist and extremely creative. We're going to go over back into Helix Edit, and I'm going to add the amp and the cab on 2 separate blocks. And we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. It's just a personal preference of mine having them on 2 separate blocks versus having an amp and a cab block be combined. My understanding is that I believe it saves DSP if you have it combined into one block, but I don't particularly need to save DSP here, so I'm just gonna go with it as is, and there's a reason why I'm going with it in this way too, so we'll see that in a little bit. So the cab comes stock with a 57 dynamic mic pulled 1 inch away at the cap edge. First, actually, I want to play my dry signal. So here's what my dry signal sounds like. And now let's go ahead and unbypass the amp in the cab, and let's hear what the stock sound sounds like. Do you hear that, guys? Do you hear that really just unpleasant harshness? It's like a weird rumbling on the top of that tone there. And actually, when I first got the Helix and I was trying to create a clean tone, was having the hardest time getting a good clean tone. And it took me just a lot of research, a lot of watching videos. There's really great YouTubers out there. Jason Sudeikis is, a YouTuber that really influenced me a lot in learning about the Helix. Just something about the clean tones when you first get them stopped. It's just very unpleasant, right? So I'm going to show you guys how I clean that up. I'm sure there's multiple ways, but I'm excited to use a brand new amp that I've never used, and let's see if this method works. So in my previous videos, what I did was I created a loop, and I went right into, changing the microphone first, and then I would mess around with the high cut and the low cut. This time around, I'm actually going to go into the amp first. And, actually, what I am going to do is I am going to change the microphone already. So I know I don't want to use the 57 for this. I have my list here that I look at whenever I pick a mic model. And I'm going to choose the 47 condenser, the Neumann U47 this time around. On the Huat video, I used the 87, and on the last video, I used the 7 dynamic. Shure SM7. So I'm just going to kind of change it up. So let's select here the 47 condenser, and I'm going to bring it center and pull it back about 6 inches. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring it right to the cap edge, because in my last video, you know, I sort of had the epiphany that I sort of always like it around the cap edge. I always wind up landing somewhere around there. So let's hear how this new mic sounds on it before I get into the loop and start making the tweaks. I will say that cleaned it up a little bit right off the bat. I still hear a little bit of that high-end rumbliness. Let's go to the bridge pickup. I still hear that rumbliness. Okay, so we're gonna take care of that, but man, I'm really liking this 47 condenser mic though. The Neumann 47. That sounds pretty nice. So I do have a loop pre-prepared this time, and it sounds like so. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play around before I do the low cut or anything. I'm gonna dial the drive down on the amp and hear what that does to the tone. So I got it down to 1. And now to make up for some of that gain reduction and that volume reduction, I'm gonna boost the channel volume. So you hear that? It really cleaned up that high end. So right off the bat, guys, I'm telling you, if you guys want to get a clean, really nice, clean, pristine tone, the first thing you have to look at within the amp is you got to dial back that drive. If you want to go with something like an edge of breakup, you can adjust that a little bit more, but probably the better thing to do would be to maybe keep that drive down low and then put a overdrive pedal before the amp just to push the amp harder, slightly harder with the level, and kind of have develop the edge of breakup that way, as opposed to driving this up. Let's try it out here real quick. I'm gonna adjust the channel volume back down to where it was, 7, and let's drive the drive all the way back up. You hear that on the transient? Now, there is one other thing that I want you to pay attention to when you're working on any tone, but especially clean tones, and that's where's the master. So the way I understand it is if the master, or any parameter for that matter in an amp, well, let's save our sanities here and turn that loop off until we're going. So if there's any parameter on the model within a Helix that's boosted all the way to 10, I believe that typically means that that's not a parameter that's found on the actual amp itself. And so I don't, for whatever reason, Line 6 decides to just boost it. I'm not quite sure what the logic there is, But what I've found is that when you have your master boosted all the way to 10 like this, that is really driving all of the parameters, the drive, the bass, the mid, the treble, the presence, everything. It's really pushing and making all of those more prominent. And that may be something you want, but in most cases, I think in this case, I think we want to dial that back just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that perfect medium between the master, the drive, and the channel volume, just so it cleans up that top end, but it still has a good amount of definition throughout the whole tone. Okay, I'm turning my volume up just so I can hear it for now. It sounds great, but it has a little bit of that crackly transient. So let me turn the master down now. You hear, as I turn the master down, I hear it thinning out. Let's make up with some drive. Let's make up for that volume decrease with the drive. Oh, I'm liking that. Now guys, if you mess around with the parameters here and you lose too much of your volume, keep in mind there's other places that you can make up for on that volume. You can make up for that volume at the very end output right here by boosting the level, right? And you could also go to the cab and you could boost the level here. So there's plenty of different options to adjust the level, and I wouldn't be scared to touch some of those if you find the perfect tone but you don't have enough headroom or it's too low. But I'm kind of liking the way that sounds, just like that. I think that's a good starting point. I think it cleaned up pretty nicely. So now let's mess around with the mic a little bit. Actually, let's mess around first with the parametric EQ, and we're gonna adjust the high cut and the low cut on this. So back to the looper. And I'm gonna turn the high cut all the way down, and I'm gonna really focus in on how that low cut sounds. And just so we can hear it a little better, here's another spot, actually, I forgot to mention, right on the parametric you can boost it. So let's hear where I can go with that low cut before I start to feel like it loses a little too much low end definition for me. Interesting. Goes pretty high, actually. Normally, the low end will cut out somewhere around 300. I still hear a little bit of that bass in there. And actually, if you do get that, I'm going to go back into the amp here, and I'm just going to roll down the bass a little bit. Roll it down to 3. All right, I'm just going to put it at 140, around where I usually put it. So now I'm going to slowly roll the high cut up till the first time that it sounds good to my ear. Take note of that. Let me turn down the level. See, everything is a balance. I think around 3K starts to sound pretty decent. And right around 9K it gets very, very harsh. Even 8K. I like my amps a little darker, guys, actually. I don't like too much harshness. I'm gonna go with 3.5 on the high cut, 140 on the low cut. And so I'm gonna set it there, and now I'm gonna mess around once again with the mics just a little bit more, just to dial that in. This 47 Neumann sounds great though, for clean. So that's something to note. Something about with this particular condenser mic, and it might be all condensers, I am not sure, certainly not an expert, but I feel like the further away you go, you know, normally with the ribbons, I'll go somewhere between 3 and 5. But I feel like with the Neumanns, you're picking up a little more information. You're picking up some pleasant harmonics or some pleasant tones beyond 6 inches or around 6 inches. All right, I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Sounds pretty good to my ears. I have it at 2.5 on position and 6 inches back from the speaker. Now let's go into the amp and let's dial in a couple of the parameters here. So we already kind of lowered the bass, but I'm still gonna raise it and do my thing where I raise it all the way and then see how it reacts and how it changes the tone. So let's raise the bass all the way. Actually, the bass really has a nice warmth to it, I feel like. And I'm actually gonna turn this up a little bit on the output just so I could hear a little better. Taking that bass away really thins out that low end. I want it somewhere right in, just get that warmth in there, somewhere right in the middle where it's not too boomy. Let's go with 3.7. And the mid, we're gonna do the same thing. So take it all the way down. Sound to it. I think this is gonna be the type of amp where I'm having this mid. This mid's gonna be pretty high up for me. Let's keep it at 8 for now. let's keep it at 5.5 for the rhythm, and let's see what the presence does. And we have a bright parameter here. First time I've come across a bright parameter on one of these amps, so we're gonna play with that in a second. But let's see what the presence does, and let's see what frequency band the presence is really impacting here. It's a little. I'm gonna keep that presence somewhat low here. Let's keep it at 2.5. And we're gonna keep the treble down there around with it too. Guys, this is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm all over the place right now, but I'm using my ears at this point, trying to shape this tone. Alright guys, so here's where I landed. I landed with bass actually at 5, mid at 4. I turned that mid down a little bit because it was becoming a little harsh and a little bit chimey for me. And then the treble and the presence, I actually put the presence up a little higher than the treble. I feel like with the treble up high, it became bright in an unpleasant kind of way. That take the edge off a little bit when I turn this down below the presence. So now let's see if I like the bright. I don't know. This amp sounds very bright to me. Might be it's obviously the mic as well, right? The condenser is just a bright mic. If I use a rivet or something, that would probably clean that up. But that's part of the challenge. We're going with it. Let's see what the bright does. Now I wonder if the bright is more impactful if I have the master up higher. I don't hear it doing anything actually. Maybe I do hear it changing a little bit of the quality. Well, I'm gonna keep it down a little bit because, like I was mentioning, I like my amps a little darker. So I'm gonna keep it at 3. To be honest, guys, I don't hear that bright parameter doing much of all of anything. I'm maybe using it wrong. Let me know in the comments if it's a parameter that I need to adjust to make that pop out a little more. But even when I turn the... Let's hear how that sounds. All right, guys. Well, I think that sounds kind of good right there. So I'm going to leave it at that. So where I wound up here was I went with the drive around 3.7, bass 4.5, mid at 5, treble 4.3. I think it sounds nice and clean. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to insert a chorus pedal in between the amp and the cab, which is going to reflect it being the natural chorus that should be on the amp, which isn't on the Helix model. And so I kind of looked this up, and if you go to Legacy, I believe the chorus that I'm looking for here is the analog chorus. So let's see what that sounds like. Let's turn that depth down just a little bit. Ooh, I'm liking that. Let's turn this reverb up a little bit here. Turn it up to 2 seconds. Let's go a little higher with it. Not go too crazy with it here. I think it's sounding kind of good with a low depth. I like very natural sounding chorus. Wow, it sounds beautiful. I kind of like the tone just being at 50% on that. Beautiful. All right, let's add a delay to this. I've been changing it up every single time. I went with the simple delay on the first video, mod chorus on the second. Sweep echo. I don't know if I want to go with sweep echo on this one. Let's try the transistor tape. Let's hear how it sounds just stock, or with the default settings. That sounds beautiful, guys. I'm loving this. I wish my clean playing was a little bit better. All right, guys, I'm going to throw the loop back on, and I'm going to mess around a little bit with the parametric EQ, see if I can just kind of tweak it a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back with what the final tone sounds like. guys, I think I'm all set. So here's where I landed. I actually, on the parametric, for the very first time, I boosted 2 frequencies rather than did reductive EQing. And I just boosted slightly the mid gain at 1.5 kilohertz and the high gain at 6 kilohertz. And then I went back into the cab and I slightly adjusted the mic as well, just so it kind of sounded pleasing to my ear. And here's the final result. All right, guys, well, that does it. I think that tone came out pretty good. So if you guys liked it, please like the video, leave a comment, let me know what I could work on, let me know what worked, let me know what didn't. Also, if you go down in the description box, I do have a link to my custom tone account where I post all my tones, and I will be posting all the tones that I create during the Helix Sessions series. I'll post them there so you can get them for free. All right, guys, appreciate you guys watching, and have a great day. And until next time, see you later.